The ballroom fell silent the moment one question echoed across the room. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't angry. It was spoken with a smug smile that made everyone nearby stop pretending not to listen. How does it feel? Those 4 words were aimed at one man standing quietly beside his wife, dressed in a simple navy suit that had been carefully pressed the night before. The laughter that followed seemed harmless to some, but to him it carried years of sacrifice, sleepless nights, and silent battles no one in that room could see. What happened in the next few minutes would leave every person at that company dinner speechless and completely change the way they looked at him forever. Before we begin this emotional journey, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Hardworking Dad for more inspiring stories that remind us that character always matters more than status. Rowan Mercer had never cared much about expensive suits, luxury watches, or fancy restaurants. He believed a person's value was measured by honesty, hard work, and the way they treated others when nobody was watching. For nearly 14 years he had worked as a self-employed furniture craftsman, building beautiful wooden tables and cabinets with his own hands. The work was exhausting, the income was unpredictable, and there were months when every dollar disappeared into bills before he even had a chance to breathe. Yet he never complained because every sacrifice had one purpose. He wanted his wife, Serena Holt, to chase the career she had dreamed about since college. Serena had joined one of the fastest-growing technology companies in the city 7 years earlier. She started at the bottom, working longer hours than anyone else and proving herself through determination rather than connections. Rowan supported every late night, every business trip, and every stressful deadline. He prepared breakfast before sunrise, packed her lunch, managed the household, and quietly delayed buying anything for himself so they could save for her professional courses and certifications. Whenever Serena doubted herself, Rowan reminded her that talent mixed with persistence could overcome almost anything. Eventually, all those years of dedication paid off. Serena was promoted to Regional Operations Director, one of the youngest executives in the company's history. Her success became a source of pride for both of them. Rowan celebrated every achievement as though it were his own because, in many ways, they had climbed the mountain together. When the annual daytime company appreciation dinner was announced, Serena insisted Rowan attend. Families were invited, and she wanted everyone to meet the man who had quietly supported her journey. Rowan hesitated. He wasn't comfortable around wealthy executives and polished corporate conversations. Still, he smiled and agreed because he knew how important the event was to Serena. The hotel overlooking the river shimmered under the bright afternoon sun. Elegant flower arrangements decorated the entrance, soft instrumental music floated through the hall, and employees mingled confidently in tailored clothing while photographers captured smiling faces. Rowan felt slightly out of place, but Serena squeezed his hand with reassuring warmth as they walked inside together. At first everything seemed pleasant. Several co-workers congratulated Serena on her recent promotion. Some greeted Rowan politely before returning to conversations about investments, luxury vacations, and expensive hobbies. Rowan listened quietly, content simply watching his wife enjoy the recognition she had earned. Then a senior project manager named Victor Langley approached their group. Victor was known throughout the company for delivering results, but he was equally known for measuring people by titles and income. His confidence often crossed the line into arrogance, though few challenged him because of his influence within the organization. Victor looked Rowan up and down with a smile that never reached his eyes. Someone had just mentioned that Rowan made handcrafted furniture instead of working in the corporate world. Victor chuckled softly before asking the question that froze the atmosphere around them. He wondered aloud how it felt to stand beside such a successful executive while earning far less than she did. He questioned whether it was uncomfortable watching his wife become the star while he remained invisible. Several nearby employees lowered their eyes, embarrassed by the cruel remark. Others exchanged nervous smiles, unsure whether to intervene. Rowan felt dozens of eyes studying him, waiting for a reaction. For a brief moment, memories rushed through his mind. He remembered skipping meals during difficult years so Serena could afford textbooks. He remembered working 12-hour days before coming home to repair the leaking roof himself because hiring contractors wasn't possible. He remembered selling the motorcycle he loved to pay for Serena's leadership program without ever telling her the real reason. Every sacrifice had been made willingly, without expecting applause or recognition. Instead of responding with anger, Rowan simply smiled. He said that success inside a marriage should never belong to only one person. If one partner rises, both rise together. If one achieves a dream, both celebrate the victory. He explained that love was never a competition about salaries or job titles. It was a partnership where both people carried different parts of the same burden. The room became quieter. Some employees nodded thoughtfully. Others looked uncomfortable, realizing how shallow Victor's question had sounded. Serena's eyes filled with tears because she knew every word Rowan spoke came from years of genuine sacrifice. Before anyone could continue the conversation, another unexpected moment unfolded. Someone briefly explained what had happened. Harrison looked directly at Rowan with growing curiosity. He stepped closer and asked what kind of furniture he created. Rowan modestly described restoring antique wood, building custom family dining tables, and teaching woodworking classes for local teenagers on weekends whenever he had free time. Harrison's expression changed instantly. Nearly 25 years earlier, when Harrison's company had nearly collapsed during a financial crisis, he had sold almost everything he owned except one handcrafted oak desk built by an unknown young craftsman. That desk still stood in his office because it reminded him that true craftsmanship and integrity survived even the hardest times. Harrison asked Rowan where his workshop was located. When Rowan answered, Harrison smiled with disbelief. The desk had been built in that very workshop years before by Rowan's late father. After his father's passing, Rowan had inherited both the business and the promise to never compromise quality for profit. A quiet wave of astonishment spread across the room. Harrison explained that he had often wondered what happened to the family behind that remarkable craftsmanship. He said the desk had witnessed every major decision that built the company into the success it was today. Without realizing it, Rowan's family's work had become part of the company's history long before many current executives had even graduated from college. Victor's confident smile disappeared completely. Employees who had ignored Rowan only minutes earlier now listened with genuine respect. Harrison continued speaking. He explained that impressive resumes could earn interviews, but character built lasting legacies. He praised Rowan not because of the furniture, but because of the humility he had displayed after being publicly embarrassed. He told everyone that dignity shown under pressure revealed far more about a person's strength than any executive title ever could. Serena stood beside Rowan, unable to hide her emotions. For years she had wanted the world to see what she already knew. The strongest person in her life wasn't the one standing behind a corporate podium. It was the quiet man who had believed in her dreams before anyone else believed they were possible. As lunch was served beneath sparkling chandeliers, conversations throughout the ballroom changed completely. Instead of discussing promotions and bonuses, many employees approached Rowan to ask about his work, his father, and the lessons he had learned from years of building furniture by hand. Rowan answered every question with the same gentle humility that had defined his entire life. One young employee admitted she had been considering leaving her aging parents because a better-paying opportunity existed across the country. After hearing Rowan speak about sacrifice, she realized success meant very little if achieved by abandoning the people who had sacrificed everything for her. Another manager confessed he had neglected his family while chasing promotions and wondered whether it was time to rebuild those relationships. Without intending to, Rowan had become the most influential person at the entire event. Later that afternoon, Harrison invited Rowan and Serena into a private conference room overlooking the city skyline. Sunlight poured through the tall windows as Harrison shared something deeply personal. He admitted that despite building a billion-dollar company, he often regretted missing precious moments with his own family while chasing endless growth. Looking at Rowan reminded him that true wealth was measured not by balance sheets but by the lives we quietly lifted along the way. Harrison then surprised them with an unexpected proposal. The company planned to redesign every executive office and community training center over the coming year. Rather than hiring a massive international supplier, Harrison wanted Rowan's workshop to create every handcrafted piece. He believed employees should be surrounded daily by work built with care, patience, and integrity rather than mass-produced furniture lacking any story. Rowan sat silently, overwhelmed. It wasn't simply the largest opportunity his business had ever received. It was validation that his father's values still mattered in a world obsessed with speed and appearances. Victor watched from across the ballroom as applause erupted after Harrison publicly announced the partnership. The same co-workers who had laughed earlier now applauded the quiet craftsman they had underestimated. Yet Rowan never celebrated Victor's embarrassment. He walked over, shook his hand sincerely, and thanked him. That simple act confused everyone. Rowan explained that sometimes painful moments reveal hidden blessings. Without Victor's insulting question, none of what happened that afternoon would have unfolded. Resentment would only steal the joy from a remarkable day. Even Victor lowered his head with genuine regret. Months later, Rowan's workshop expanded, hiring skilled local craftsmen who had struggled to find meaningful work. Young apprentices learned traditional woodworking techniques that might otherwise have disappeared. Serena continued excelling in her career, but now every achievement felt even sweeter because both of them understood that their greatest accomplishment had never been promotions or contracts. It had been protecting their love from pride, comparison, and bitterness. Neighbors often admired the beautiful home they eventually purchased, assuming sudden success had changed them. They never saw Rowan still waking before sunrise to sweep his workshop floors or Serena bringing coffee to every employee during busy mornings. Success had increased their opportunities, but it had never changed their hearts. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, subscribe to Hardworking Dad, and let us know your thoughts in the comments because your support helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need hope the most. Special request: comment below with the words, "Character always wins," if you believe kindness, humility, and sacrifice will always outlast pride and arrogance. The afternoon that began with humiliation ended with honor. A single cruel question had nearly reduced a good man to a stereotype, but patience, humility, and years of quiet sacrifice revealed a truth no title or paycheck could ever replace. People may judge what they can see, but life has a remarkable way of revealing the unseen stories behind ordinary faces. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who never ask for recognition, and sometimes the greatest victories belong to those who quietly help someone else shine. Rowan never needed the room's approval to know his worth. Yet on that unforgettable day, everyone finally learned the lesson he had lived all along: the richest life is built not on status, but on love, integrity, and the courage to keep doing the right thing even when nobody is watching.